I would like to welcome you all with the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem. So, begin our discussion with the usual recitation to respect the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and meditation begins after that. So, let's begin with Namo Tassa three times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami Tisarana gamanang sampunnang පානාතිපාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි අදින්නාදානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි තිසරණේන සද්ධින් පංචශීලං ධම්මං සමාදයිත්වා සාදුකං සුරක්ඛිතං කତ୍වා අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේත සීලේන සුගතින් යන්ති සීලේන භෝග සම්පදා සීලේන නිබ්බුතින් යන්ති තස්මා සීලං විසෝදේ. Let's pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattā deva manussanang buddho bhagavati Swakhato bhagavata dhammo samdittiko Akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko Paccattang veditabbo viññohiti Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samichi Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Puggala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakkineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, after the observance of 5 precepts along with 3 refuges, we are quite ready to meditate for a few minutes. The purpose of this meditation is to bring the mindfulness and awareness into action. We have been practicing mindfulness, awareness, concentration, wisdom in many occasions in our life. This occasion we try to sharpen that mindfulness, awareness, concentration, wisdom, and learn them with that basis. So friends, sitting with comfortable position with upright body, observe the feeling sensation of the body, observe your thoughts and everything in your body, in your mind. From the tip of your toes up to the top of your head, there are so many parts and they are joined together to make this body a strong and also very useful one. It is covered by the clothes and we can see only few parts of this body: hair of your head and body hair, nails, teeth and the skin. So you scan them first and slowly peep into your body to see the main bodily organs, the brain, the heart, the liver, kidneys, the stomach, lungs, and all of these important body parts inside the body. Meanwhile, you see the skeleton across from your body through across sides. This makes us that we are here. The awareness of the body is here in your mind. Just love this body because it is existing due to your karma. So many good things made it to this life, and your good deeds, the behavior, the merits support this body in this journey so far. I know that this body is fragile, subject to impermanence. Any kinds of illnesses could be in this body. However, may this body be free from pain, stress, sorrow, lamentation. May this body be free from suffering. May I be well, may I be happy, may I be peaceful. Now think of others' well-being, especially family members, then friends and relatives. Anyone who is sick, need blessings. Anyone who is in danger or problems, may they be well, happy, peaceful. May they be free from suffering. And let your loving thoughts flow in the sky, across the land, to each corner of the places where human beings live. Just like the sun radiates the light, just like the moon bring its smooth, cool light to this earth, plants and beings. You too travel to each mind, each living species in the entire world. May they be well, may they be happy, may they be peaceful. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. May all living beings be loved. May all living beings be compassionate. May all living beings awaken to the reality. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. Enrich your mind with this beautiful thought, loving kindness, with the support of mindfulness and awareness. Understand that nothing is permanent in this universe. Myself and others and materials, constructions, the nature, everything is impermanent. Until I see this truth, until human beings and other living beings cross over this suffering, may they all be well, be happy, and be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, friends, we are going to start today's sutta discussion from where we stopped last week. Today, our discussion mainly focuses on the second part of the Alagaddupama Sutta, the water snake simile discourse. Last week, we were able to cover the introduction part of the discourse, plus how Venerable Arit understood the teachings of the Buddha from his point of view. This week, we tried to cover the second part of the sutta with some beautiful statement of the Buddha and how Buddha wanted his disciples to act in such situations by protecting the Dhamma as well as disciples from wrong views, wrong conclusion that some monks and nuns purposely or intentionally or unintentionally do. We were able to discuss the 10 similes of sensual desire. Of course, they were explaining how dangerous sensual desire is. So Buddha in general talk about the danger of sensual desire because sensual desire is the key hindrance and it creates opportunities for other hindrance to arise in mind. Therefore, Buddha talks about sensual pleasures, sensual desires as the main reasons for samsara. In many occasions, Buddha stressed this fact because that's the boundary where monks and nuns differentiate. So when sensual desire is there, you cannot have monastic life. So monastics become different from lay people when they vow themselves to stop sensual desire and plus do some other things. So monks are always advised by the Buddha and senior monks to stop indulge in sensual pleasures because that's makes the monkhood successful, and it is the key or an easy entrance to the cultivation of good qualities as well as alleviating of suffering. So we were able to discuss the danger of sensual desire with the 10 similes last week. This week we are going to understand the Venerable Aristo's wrong view again because that entails the teachings of the Buddha in the discourse. So Venerable Arita mentioned in front of the Buddha how he made that statement. One thing I appreciate of Venerable Arita's behavior is that he did not lie, right? That is a good quality of all these erroneous monks and nuns and lay people in those days. Even Venerable Devadatta and even Venerable Kokalika, those names were recorded as enemies of the Sasana. They in front of the Buddha and many monks and lay people, they accepted their wrongdoings. Can we believe that many people today do that kind of things? No, it's impossible for many people to accept the truth. So, but the Venerable Arita in this case accepted the allegations. As I understand the Dharma taught by the Blessed One, those things called obstructions by the Blessed One are not able to obstruct one who indulge in them. So this is the very statement the discourse recorded. So the Buddha has said uh, the obstructions, antarayika dharma, stumbling blocks for attaining Nibbana. But those who indulge in those things still can attain Nibbana, according to my opinion. That's what Venerable Arita said. For example, Buddha has warned fourfold disciples to stop enjoying their senses, because sensual desire arises through lack of mindfulness on seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and so forth. So that is not beneficial to your practice on morality, concentration, and wisdom. This is what Buddha initially has said. This monk Arita says that it is not like that. You can enjoy sensual pleasures, sensual desire, and that is not detrimental to your practice. Why did he say that? Because there are monks and nuns who came to the Buddha and claimed their attainment to different stages of enlightenment. At the same time, the lay people, men and women, being at home, realized the Dhamma and came to the Buddha with their statement of their realization, right? Buddha himself said that Visakha and that person, this person have attained to Sotapanna level, Sakadagami level, Anagami level. Do you remember any Anagami? So late Anagami is Gatikara and Chitta, and there were women as well. So then Venerable Arita thought that while they enjoy sensual pleasures, they attain to Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami. This could be done by even monks. Why can't we enjoy sensual pleasures and attain in those stages of enlightenment when lay people do that? With that understanding, which is mistakenly understood, Venerable Arita made this statement. So we were on this story. Then Buddha has said that sensual pleasures provide little gratification, much suffering, and much despair, and how great is the danger in them. Buddha has repeatedly mentioned that sensual desire has such a danger. Then it is impossible that one can indulge in sensual pleasures without sensual desire, which is a very good statement. Without sensual desire, one cannot indulge in sensual pleasures. It means that you should have a sensual desire, a perception of sensual desire, and any signs of sensual desire in your mind, then you enjoyed it. It means that you have roots of sensual desire, root of greed, hatred, ignorance in your mind. That's why you enjoy it. If there are no sensual, seed of sensual pleasures in your mind as root causes of suffering, you cannot enjoy pictures, hearing, and so forth. It is impossible that one can indulge in sensual pleasures without sensual desires, without perception of sensual desires, without thought of sensual desire. So, as I said, this is the wrong view that Venerable Arita had, and while this beautiful statement of the Buddha about sensual desire and its danger has been explained in many ways. Therefore, we come to know that the Buddha has been explaining different wrong views that people ended up their practice in suffering. We can find 6 views in this discourse, mainly discuss because of the wrong graphs of the Dhamma. Anybody can have these 6 views. What are the 6 views? A person can regard form as mine and as I am and myself. And the person could regard the feelings of his or her in her experience as mine, I, and myself. So similarly, the wrong view could arise based on the 4 aggregates, and finally the 5th one is regard what is seen, heard, sensed, and known, found, sought after, mentally persuade this is mine, this I am, this is myself. The 6th one, the world is the self. After death, I will be permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, eternally the same. I will endure as long as eternity. These 2 regards, this is mine, this is I am, this is myself. I know that these statements are so academic, could not understand what this means when we compare to our day-to-day experiences. Can you? It's so difficult. Let me have a few minutes to explain this. These views. We know that there are aggregates, right? Aggregates mean not one single thing. It's a collection of same type of things. When we say aggregate of form, that means Rupa Kanda, which means there are uncountable number of pictures taken by our mind, taken through our eyes, ears, tongue, body, and mind, by the mind, and we have stored them in our mind. Let's say your car. Can you picture it now? Can you see that car in your mind? You can imagine, right? We know the type of the car, we know where we put our bags, and we know where we put our water bottles in the car. We know the dashboard, and we know the doors, the color of the car. So everything comes to our mind immediately. That is because we have stored the lot of pictures of our car in our mind. That's why we can take them and think of over all these pictures. So that's mean car is a form, and it is stored in a multitude ways, in different ways. So let's, when I say a car, when I say your car, and the picture pop up in your mind, and it came through your ears, and these words created a form, and you have a feeling too about it. Now what is the feeling? It is my car and I like it, right? So that pleasant feeling is because of the form or the car, and you hear from your ears. And now there is a perception. Car is a perception. When I say your car, the perception called car with the colors and the shape has already arisen in your mind. Then it's a creation of your mind, right? When I say the words your car, 2 words, you created it. You created a new picture of your own car based on the previous pictures stored, and that's sankhara. And how did you do that? uh, you have consciousness. You are conscious about what you stored, what you have right now, and you are conscious about many things. So these are the 5 aggregates, and these are the ways that 5 aggregates are created in our mind. So regards form, regard feelings, regard perception, formations, and whatever you see, hear, sense, and know, you create all these ideas as mine, and I am there, and it's myself. Do you get some ideas about five aggregates now? At least one, right? You know that, don't you? So whatever we say, this is mine, this is not mine, this belongs to these people. So you have created then the five aggregates with attachment. Do you have any attachment to clothes or cars, in a shopping mall, or in a place where you can buy cars? Suppose that there is a car in our garage. Do you have an attachment to it? No, it doesn't belong to you, right? So when we create belong, it belongs to me, it belongs to them. You have made a connection. So why do we, why don't we have attachment to things that do not belong to us? Because we do not create a bondage to it. So we have created that attachment to things around us, and people belong to us, and people associate us. But the wise attention comes into being and say that this is not mine, this is not me, this is not myself. So this could be tested when you meditate. This could be tested when you have real situation of your life, right? Suppose you are sick, not very sick, I don't know whether you can bear that pain when you are seriously ill. But suppose that you have fever, you have a pain on your shoulder. This could be an occasion that you could test the attachment to five aggregates. So if you wisely think that this is the pain on my shoulder, it is there because of this and that, then now you started observing the pain on your shoulder, and you see how it came into being, and you know the reasons of the pain, and you know what has to be done to remove that pain. So you apply wise attention to it. What is happening with this observation is the lack of attachment. You create a momentum to cut off that attachment. So views could happen at all in our life, either pleasant or unpleasant, or wholesome or unwholesome. In this case, Venerable Aritta created wrong views with regard to form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and whatever he saw, heard, sensed, and known, found, and so forth. And not only that, the biggest mistake people could do in long term is that there is a self that goes from this life to the next. I would like you to open your wisdom eye to think about the dead people, relatives, right? All of us have one or two close family members die, right? So do you think when you transfer marriage to these people who were with us some time ago, uh, we tend to believe that the same person reborn in somewhere, right? We picture all these beautiful faces in the photographs taken sometime before they die, and we assume that these people reborn in that place. But we know that the dead body was cremated or buried, and that's gone. Some energies went from this body to the next life, which we do not know. So we somehow uh, believes that this person with this same face and body reborn in a place, but according to Buddha's teaching, it does not happen at all. The karmic energy is just like the current, uh, the electricity, and it appears in another place depending on the condition, right? So in a wire, do you have light like this? No, it's an energy. So when you switch on the gadget fixed to the end of the wire start illuminating, dispelling the darkness with light. So similar to that, let's get another example. You switch on the radio and there is no any connections to the radio from outside, no wires, no anything except the batteries or the charger. But those people who are talking in a station somewhere 10 kilometers away could hear from the radio when you turn it on. So what you did there is you make the conditions, those words and statement language, those people to hear. So in the same manner, uh, people die, human beings die, living beings die, and there are places that living energy to stay station and reborn as a new being depending on the karma. So the last one was very difficult to understand for many religious people in the world, because religion makes people to believe that there is a self. Only Buddha's teaching clears this aspect of self and led people into non-self. So these are the views that the sutta mainly discuss, and Venerable Aritta had those views. Buddha could explain the danger of these views based on Venerable Aritta's misinterpretation of the Dhamma. You can ask any questions at any time of the discussion. So now I would like you to understand uh, these 9 sections of the Dhamma. If you read the sutta, you might come across this statement. Uh, let me read that part of the discourse. Here, bhikkhus, some misguided men learn the Dhamma uh, discourses, stanzas, exposition, verses, exclamation, sayings, birth stories, marvels, and answer to the questions. Sutta discourses, Geyang the stanzas, Veyakaranang the expositions, Gatam the verses, Udanang the inspired utterances, Ityuttakang the sayings, Jatakang the birth stories, Adbhuta the marvels, Vedallang the answers to questions. These are the 9 sections of the Buddha's teaching. They were very earliest categorization of the Buddha's teaching. What are the other categorization that you know? If you speak of the Buddha's teaching, what is mostly famous? A lot of people say that Tripitaka, right? Tripitaka is the famous categorization. It is done by uh, monks 300 years after the Parinibbana, right? So Buddha himself did this categorization and encourage monks and nuns, lay people to uh, study these 9 sections of the Dhamma. So if you study these 9 sections of the Dhamma, every Buddha's words is covered. Suttang geyang veyakaranang gatang udanang iti uttakang datakang abbuddha dhammang vedalang. Here he says some misguided men learn the Dhamma. Some misguided people, some unwholesome people could learn these 9 limbs of Dhamma, but having learned the Dhamma, they do not examine the meaning of those teachings with wisdom. The problem is there is that they learn the Dhamma, which is good, but they do not understand the meaning of this Dhamma. Right? That's why they become misguided. That's why they become foolish, and that's why they made false statement of the pure Buddha's teaching. They do not know the purpose. They do not know the meanings of the Dhamma. Not examining the meaning of those teaching with wisdom, they do not gain a reflective acceptance of them. Unless you examine the meaning of the Dhamma with wisdom, you cannot get reflective acceptance, which means you do not have direct experience of them. So what this statement suggests us to do is to understand the meaning of the Dhamma. So when you hear a different word or new words of the sutta or suttas or any stories, just imagine how I understand this, what this teaches new to me, and how I combine this to this statement of Four Noble Truth. And so you need to think about it. At the same time, you need to combine them to your daily practice too. 5 principles, compassion, how this connect to giving dana, how this connect to giving this and that. So you can combine them to your daily practice. That's the examining of the Dhamma. When you have this examination, you have a reflective acceptance. You are going to know what you are going to say, and there is a reflection coming before you say something. So Buddha says that they do not gain a reflective acceptance of them. Unless they examine the Dhamma, they cannot have reflective acceptance. Instead, they learn the Dhamma only for the sake of criticizing others and for winning in debates, and they do not experience the good for the sake of which they learn the Dhamma. So that's very good, because nowadays a lot of monks and nuns, lay people have come forward and become preachers. If you look at Sri Lanka, you can see that there are a lot of organizations, committees, and individuals come forward with beautiful statement of the Dhamma. It's very easy for even you to make a group and deliver Dhamma sermons and lead people into meditation. But if we look at the purpose and the way they deliver the Dhamma, we don't want to stay a longer period to understand what they do. They have become victim of sensual desire. They would like to gain fame. Sorry for this. They would like to gain fame, and also money, and is behind them, and say a lot of desires that are not peaceful, important to their practice, have come forward, and you can see that. So Buddha has warned about this. So if you learn the Dhamma to debate, if you learn the Dhamma to win over, that is taking the Dhamma in a wrong way, just similar to catching a snake by the coil or the tail. Because you read the books just to find some interesting point better than others, and say something in the assembly or in the gathering, I have seen that in even in this society. You don't believe that? I have seen that. So some people, sorry about that. No, it's going all no. So this I know that it's not ending. So because of this reason, Buddha warned monks like Arita, and there were many monks who want to debate, and there was a trend during the time of the Buddha that some monks, not in Buddha's dispensation, in other order, or when from places where people gather and debate. So in early stages of the sasana, some arahants also went there, and of course they didn't have any intention of winning over, but they wanted to make sure that these people understand them. So even at that situation, Buddha made some concern about the preservation of the Dhamma purely because Buddha knew that some monks who are not Arahant will go there because of their ability to speak, and made some defilement. So, not examining the meaning of those teachings with wisdom, they do not gain reflective acceptance. So, uh, Buddha has made this statement over and over again and said that don't use the Dhamma for these purposes, but use the Dhamma for particular purpose. So then we have the simile of the snake here. If you use the Dhamma to win over, or to make yourself a character in the society, it's just like catching a snake by the tail or the coil, or except the neck, catching the snake anywhere else in the body could harm you, right? These pictures, of course, are to show you the very simile, but the pictures do not, of course, show you that they are in danger. uh, but you can understand that what the Buddha mean by saying that do not use them for anything else but to cleanse your mind, right? So there is another beautiful statement after this. Here, because some clansmen learned the Dhamma, those 9 section of the Dhamma, and they examine the meaning of those Dhamma with wisdom. After examining the meaning of those teaching with wisdom, they gain a reflective acceptance of them. So, if you have a right intention in your mind, uh, in examining the Dhamma, you of course get that reflective understanding. You don't stop there, because that reflective acceptance of the Dhamma uh, lead you to use the Dhamma in a proper way. Now you do not go to criticize others, even if you see some people, behave not according to Dhamma. There were some occasions during the time of the Buddha that some monks were misrepresenting the Buddha and his teaching. We don't see that Venerable Sariputta, Moggallana, Kassapa, and those great disciples did not get angry over all these allegations to the Buddha and Sangha. So why? Those wise people have had, of course, gain a vast wisdom and cut off those roots of suffering called greed, hatred, and delusion. When you do not have the roots causes of suffering, in your heart and mind, there is nothing for you to get angry or seeing, bad things for the triple gem. So Buddha said that when you understand the meaning of my word, remember it accordingly. And when you do not understand the meaning of my word, then you should questions, counter questions, either me or the learned monks about it. It's a beautiful statement. It's a beautiful statement because Buddha clearly says that there are what we should do. If you understand the meaning of the word or the phrases, it's okay. If you do not understand, go to a person whom you can get help, right? Go to a person you know very well and examine the meaning with him. Examine the meaning with him and the purpose of the statement, and try to discuss with him, not to, and ask so many questions, because you can get the idea of what it means. So we see that if those monks who are meditating came to the Buddha once a while and asked questions, so many questions, to clear their doubts, right? So it's always acceptable for you to ask question even from us. It doesn't mean that we know everything, but it is the way that a lot of people were encouraged by the Buddha in those days. So we go to see the purpose of the Dhamma. Because I will show you how the Dhamma is comparable to a raft that is for crossing over, within bracket, the waters for the far shore, not for the purpose of grasping. So this is the famous simile or the parable Buddha is given to show the meaning of the Dhamma, the purpose of the Dhamma. Because having understood the parable of the raft, you should abandon even the Dhammas. How much more so that which are not Dhammas? So this is my Dhamma is for the purpose of crossing over the flood of suffering, and the raft is being used for that purpose. In the discourse, the simile is mainly explained, and it is being quoted by many scholars, many people throughout many centuries, and still work. And we can use the Dhamma only for cutting off of suffering, and after cutting off of suffering, Dhamma is not important for those arahants. So I have been talking a lot, so I would like you to speak something. What do you think about this simile? When I say that the arahants do not want the Dhamma after attaining enlightenment, what do you think that arahants do after that? So you are going to be an arahant, right? So you should may be able to know some sort of behaviors of the arahant, the ways of uh, he thinks. What do you mean by the statement that arahants do not want the Dhamma? Arahants do not grasp the Dhamma. It means that they have done with the Dhamma. They have done with everything with Dhamma. The arahantship is accomplished when you practice the Noble Eightfold Path completely. It means you have gone beyond the 8 limbs of the Noble Eightfold Path. It means that you do not have right understanding, sammaditi. Your understanding is superior to that. It means that you have gone beyond your level of understanding, your level of speech, your level of perseverance, your level of mindfulness is on beyond beyond these 10 8 levels. So it means that you don't need any particular moral principles, concentration level, and practices to develop wisdom. You don't need them. That's why he does not want the Dhamma anymore. So when we compare the Dhamma to a raft or the boat or any bridge or whatever you use to cross over the river or the lake, mm, Dhamma there is to help you to cleanse your mind from impure things, and once you completely clean your mind, uh, you do not need that Dhamma. Suppose you wash clothes by using detergents. After you finish washing clothes, do you think of detergent again? Do you think of the washing machine again until you do it again some a week after or so? So you finish with it. Similarly, you practice the Dhamma up to the highest extent and gain a kind of state where you stay in peace and happiness permanently. Okay, that's a very good question. Uh, is it in the second? Yeah, I will show you how the Dhamma is comparable to a raft that is for crossing over the waters for the far shore, not for the purpose of grasping. That's a very good question. Um, we yeah, sorry. Oh yes, we could get attached to the Dhamma in a different way. So we have when we say Dhamma, we know that they are in the books, right? What we practice in our daily following is that these statements of the Buddha are understood and try to apply them in our actions, words, and thinking. At some point of our practice, we experience that they are working and we become worthy people. Not only monks, all of you could become worthy people for you and others. So you are in happy super state. So then you attach to those mental states in such a way that do you die with them and you live with them and you don't want to pay attention to your responsibilities and so on. So you attach to those mental happiness. That's one kind of grasping of the Dhamma. But in other ways, you have these experiences. Um, I would say that you are going to protect Buddhism by killing living beings, by disturbing others, not following humane qualities, basic humane qualities. You are going to protect temples, pagodas, culture, and so on. Uh, in in my point of view, you grasp the Dhamma in wrong way, because if you understand a statement in a negative and wrong way, that's become an grasping of Dhamma. We like the Buddha stories, we like the Jataka stories, we like the stories of monks and nuns, and we can say that, but we like it because of the influence we can get from those monks, but we do not attach to them. Do you remember Moli Paguna and the very one of the monks who was very fond of monks, bhikkhunis. So Molyapaguna did not like others to speak of bad, negative things of those group of bhikkhunis. He got angry because he liked those bhikkhunis, and those group of bhikkhunis also did not want others to speak of any bad of Molyapaguna. So that's the attachment they created. And suppose you are going somewhere in the bus and somebody is criticizing Buddhist monks because they were protesting and they were killing. And one story, a lot of stories are made by those people in Myanmar those days. Buddhist monks and Buddhist people kill here, Muslims. And yeah, yeah, we don't know exactly what is happening. I believe that they are doing that, but media is creating a lot of mistake things. We don't have first-hand experience. And one thing I learned that Sri Lanka is a place where terrorism takes place everywhere, but nothing happened in the south where we were living there so many times. But that's how these people understand when stories build one after the other. Of course, violence by any means is not peaceful and against Buddhism. Um, so what I wanted to tell is that uh, you hear person is criticizing Buddhist monks while you are going in the bus. So you are a Buddhist. If you get angry, if you go and talk about against Muslims, Buddhist monks, because of your Buddhist faith, Buddhist, you grasp the Dhamma in a negative way. Do you understand what I'm saying? At the end of the discourse, Buddha says that even I am criticized by somebody. It is not your duty as a faithful disciples of the Buddha go and say something against to him. You must be uh, in silence or say something in a positive way with kindness. If somebody, it gives a message to us that if somebody destroy a Buddha statue or a temple, you should not go uh, and do the same thing to the other, but you can act peacefully to stop them and stop violence. It is there always. So Buddha therefore uh, says in many ways the way of grasping the Dhamma, attachment to the Dhamma. Yeah, if you claim the ownership with attachment, with so much attachment, you are going against the pure Dhamma. Because how can we have attachment with uh, all these loving kindness, compassion, spiritual joy and wisdom? They are always going against. But we need to understand this fact very uh, intelligent way, because we need to have something preserved for ourselves and our generations to practice, right? If it doesn't mean that I appreciate any kind of violence to protect Buddhism, preserve Buddhist places, but how can we stay uh, silently when people come and destroy the places, the monuments, uh, you know, and then why Buddhism disappears from India? There are so many views But one thing that everybody accept, that Buddhists were very kind and compassionate. They were practicing non-violence. Therefore, the invaders could came to the monastery without any barriers and kill all the monks and destroy monasteries and so forth. Plus, they were not in debate, they were not in violent activities in terms of protecting Buddhist areas, monasteries, while the other sects appreciate any kind of violence in spreading the teachings. So, on the other hand, nothing is permanent, right? Even Buddha's teaching is subject to impermanence. It means that it could vanish from people's understanding. The teaching is, sorry, he will come. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Sabbe sankhara anicchati and sabbe dhamma anattati. He clearly says that all conditioned things are impermanent. Buddha appears in the world to take this beautiful universal Dhamma back into his mind, into his understanding, and clearly explain to people for them to understand. So it happens once a while in this vast universe, and it could go away from people's understanding. So long people have greed, hatred, and developed through their way of behaviors, way of living, the Dhamma could disappear. So, therefore, grasping the Dhamma mm, is been explained in many ways. Do not. Yeah, once you in different occasions you could do that. We need to do that not only after the attainment of enlightenment. Of course, that statement that arahants do not need the Dhamma means they of course live in there, they do not have anything to do specially, that's the meaning. But at some point we have to abandon the attachment to the Dhamma. Suppose you are coming, you have a very good sermon done by a guest monk at the temple. At the same time, uh, you have a commitment to do, that is scheduled sometime before. So you cannot avoid this commitment, and you know that Dhamma sermon is so important to you. So things made you to stay at home or at friend's place instead of going to the sermon. In my personal point of view, I say that you do not create anger or frustration, disappointment for not having that Dhamma sermon, not listening to that Dhamma sermon. If you, because you have that there, if you create a frustration, disappointment, it is because of attachment. The sermon. So you go to the accepted place and do whatever you want to do with kindness and compassion, but you do not attach to the very idea that I missed the Dhamma sermon, oh so bad, and so forth. So I think you apply the Dhamma there, right? So you come to the place where you listen to the Dhamma 5 minutes late, and Dhamma sermon has already been started, and delay happened because of traffic jam, and you are angry with some people who made you don't know, so kind of attachment made this unrest in your mind. So attachment could happen in many ways, attachment to Dhamma. But I want to clear one thing here, that there are two type of attachments: wholesome attachment, unwholesome attachment. I encourage you to attach to hold something until you understand, until we understand the enlightenment. Attach to the Noble Eightfold Path. Attach to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha with wisdom. Then you select all these good activities to be done and abandon the other side. So that's how we trainers should go forward in the Noble Eightfold Path. Otherwise, people may understand this statement wrong, with wrong conclusion, that Bhante said that we should not attach to anything, even to programs, even to pujas, even to danas, even to meditation. So I am totally away from this and that. That's the wrong grasp of the Dhamma too. So, uh, do you remember this statement in the discourse that anxiety over the external and non-existent? After the admonition of the Buddha to the assembly and made clear about the wrong view of Venerable Arita and clears the Dhamma for the benefit of monks, one monk came forward and asked this question. At the moment, I cannot find the place of the discourse about this exact statement. Uh, oh, yes. A certain bhikkhu asked the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, can there be agitation or anxiety about what is non existent externally? And he asked the question internally as well. Anxiety over the externally non existent. Alas, I had it. Alas, I have it no longer. Alas, may I have it? Alas, I cannot have it. So the picture doesn't go with the statement anyway. But what it means is that people have anxiousness, anxiety, frustration over the externally non-existence. Were were you in the past? Yeah, we were living, right? Uh, do you have anxious feelings, agitation, frustration over something you did in the past? Yeah, normally we have it. But according to noble teaching, we shouldn't have it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anxiety is there because of something wrong in the past. 2 years ago, we said something to some people and there was a verbal fight, and the problem, fight was going on and we had something wrong, and we were in that bad experience. Even now we become upset when we remember that incident. So this is the example. So we have anxiety over the externally non-existent. That problem happened not within us. Of course, it affect to us mentally, but it is externally. It was an external incident. It is not existing right now exactly as it happened. But anxiety, frustration is here. So Buddha said that yes, people have it because of this and that, because of greed, hatred, and ignorance again. So uh, then the person who thinks about the past incident and suffer from that, he sorrows, grieves, and lament. He weeps, beating his breast, and become distraught. This is how there is agitation about what is non-existent externally. Venerable Sir, can there be no agitation about what is non-existent externally? Yes, it could happen. Uh, when you remember such incident, If you want to be free from anxiety, frustration, agitation, you should think in such a way that I do not get it, I do not grasp that, I do not attach to it. Simple. I don't know whether the very application of the Dhamma is simple, but it's a simple statement of the do not get it as you were have there. Do not think that you were there. It's a form of changing is there in your mind and body at that time, and it continues to the present. Okay, I need to go quickly on this. Anxiety over the internally and non-existent. So the very notion of self, anxiety over the internally non-existent. Of course, who is existing in us? Who? I. After so many investigation from different subject, different understanding, whatever based on your knowledge, you may call I exist. But from a very Dhamma point, deep Dhamma point of view, we can say that who is I? Buddha has categorized our human body as well as our mind into various sections. Do you remember Ati Masmin Kaya Kesa Loma Raka and 32 parts of the body? That's the physical categorization to see whether there is a being called I. No. Where he Buddha cut this body into 32 pieces mentally and see whether there is a being. No. And Buddha take one part of the body called head hair, and break that into pieces as well. Analyze that into 4 elements. That's the final point of evaluation. Then at the end there is no person called I. I is what? Is the English letter I. Yeah, in Sinhala Mama and in Pali Ahang. In Sanskrit also Ahang. I don't know what word we use for I in French, Latin and so forth. So see, so different words is being used by the very persons to introduce himself or herself to others. It shows that I, mama, ahang are convention made by people, but we collect money, fame, material and immaterial thing for this I, and people around I, people belongs to I. If I is wrong, if I is created by human living beings mistakenly, what about the other belongings around I? So anxiety over the internally non-existence is wrong because of that. Because of this anxiety about something non-existent internally, people grieve, weeps, beat their hearts by hands, and so forth. And how do people go away from this, abandon this self-view? By thinking wisely that there is no I, that there is no me, that there is no permanent self. Because we can see that things arise and passes away in this body and in our mind. We come to the very important topic, because you may well cling to the self doctrine, sorry about the numbers there, that would not cause sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair to arise in one who cling to it. Because I too do not see any possession that is permanent, everlasting, eternal, unchanging in nature, eternally the same, that would endure as long as eternity. So what is the Buddha is asking is that if you find anything permanent, please grasp it. If you find anything permanent, everlasting, uh, and not ending, please keep it. Hold to it. But I do not see anything in this universe that there is something permanent, everlasting. Uh, so, because you may well cling to the self doctrine that would not cause sorrow. So please cling to any doctrine, any set of teaching that do not cause you suffering, lamentation. If you attach to Buddha's teaching, Buddha himself said that. If you attach to Buddha's teaching, that also cause you suffering. Suppose that you attach to beautiful teachings of all the discourses, and you go to a temple and monks do not refer to the discourses and say something. You become upset that this monk, how many discourses are there? He could take one discourse and explain them. He did not. So you get angry. If you attach to the discourses in the entire Tripitaka and learn them as they are, uh, still you have the problems because you have attached to it. So if it is okay for me, monks, you to attach to any teaching where there is no suffering, could you find that? No. So from this point of the discussion, I would like to uh, end because it's 8 o'clock now. We have something to discuss in this discourse, maybe a couple of points. I would like to take them next time. So if you have any questions or any additions to the discussion, please do so. If not, this will be the end of the discussion today. I hope that you understand the discourse well, and hope that understanding would help you to increase your practice. One thing I would like to add, that this discourse is too long. When there are discourses in this length, it's very difficult to concentrate to all the facts from the beginning to the end. But you can uh, divide the discourse by stories, by points, and remember, and finally tie each summarized version of facts together and get a full idea of the discourse. Still, I say that there is no guarantee that you remember them always, because we tend to forget. But the summary we get could keep in us by using them in our daily practice. Okay, so that's the end of the discourse, and I hope you enjoyed. So next week we have the discussion uh, based on the last part of the discourse plus some additions to the discourse to make the discussion full and complete. Thank you very much for coming, and wish you all the best. Those who join with us online also be blessed by the power of the Noble Triple Gem. May you all attain Nibbana very soon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu,